Power 98.7 Podcasts. Power Breakfast with TT. Weekday mornings from 6 to 9 a.m. on Power 98.7.
Let's turn our attention to something else completely different here. And now this is about a campaign that's been launched. It's called the Rise 18 campaign. And the person behind this will be competing in 18 races between January and July to spread awareness about depression and the myths around the illness. Zanele Hlachwayo is a survivor of depression and wants people to understand that the illness is not associated with any one race, but anyone can be affected by it. She joins us on the line now. This is Zanele Hlachwayo. Good morning to you, and thank you so much for talking to us.
Hi, Titi. Thank you. Thank you so much.
Yeah, before we even get into the campaign itself and the races that you'll be running between now and July, let's talk a little bit about why you're doing this. You're saying you're raising awareness about depression, and I must confess to being one of those who really knew and knows very little and understands how this how depression actually works, and that it is a real condition that many people are living and contending with.
Yeah, so the idea behind the campaign was based on a personal experience. I lost my dad due to depression and suicide, who subsequently killed himself. So in order to protect his legacy, I don't want him to be defined by the way that he died, but I just wanted to raise awareness about the fact that depression or suicide is actually an illness, and there's so many misconceptions about it, especially in the Black communities, where people think that when you're depressed or when you're suicidal, there's either something wrong with you or people must pray for you. And there's just lack of understanding from the society. So the whole campaign centers around the fact that we need to raise awareness, and people need to understand that when someone is depressed, when someone is suicidal, there's actually something that needs to be done about it. You know, the people need to go see doctors, and they really need to get help.
In experience, if you will allow me and indulge me, maybe to talk a little bit about the experience that you had with your own father here. I mean, was he aware that had he been diagnosed as being clinically depressed or with having depression?
Only much later, and I think even with myself or even with the family, we had picked it up much later as well, that he was actually depressed. He was diagnosed much later on, and at the time, it was quite too late. So even with us as a family, we actually didn't know what the problem was. We just saw that he was different, he was not himself, and only much later on he was diagnosed. And I think if we had known more about the ailment, then we would have been able to afford him with the proper support and the proper assistance in helping him.
What would you say then? As you say, particularly in our communities, in Black communities, it's not something that's understood, and it's just like, we just blame the person actually for what they're going through without trying to understand. What would you say, your advice in terms of, I don't know if you could say the telltale signs, or what people should look out for, or what we should all be doing as a matter of course, to understand issues? Because this is another issue of mental health that very little is understood about. How do we make ourselves more mindful and conscious of what people may be going through?
I think it's important to read up about it and really find out more information, because once you read about it, you become empowered and you'll be able to read about certain signs. For instance, if a person, they become detached, they become disinterested in the things that they used to like, they're just not themselves, and some people become emotional, because I've even seen as well with some of my friends, because I've been exposed to depression, I've been exposed to obviously my dad and the fact that he was suicidal. The talk, the way the person talks even changes. People will talk about how they don't want to live anymore, or how they don't want to be on this earth anymore. So all of those are signs, and I think the most important thing as individuals, and which is the reason why I even started the campaign, is to actually raise awareness and educate people that there is help out there. There's organizations like the SADAG, which is the South African Depression and Anxiety Group, where they offer assistance, and people can go there, people can call them, because it's a 24-hour line. So information is very important, and knowledge is very important as well. And not to be judgmental, because in many instances, the first reaction from people is they become very judgmental, or they don't know just how to react, and when a person is depressed, when a person is suicide, they need all the support and mostly love from people. And I think even in the Black communities, especially with men are not allowed to express themselves. Men are not allowed to cry because it's regarded as weak. And if you see a man going through that, there's nothing wrong with it. It's just that they might be going through a difficult time. They might not have an outlet to be able to speak to someone. So support is very important.
Okay, now the way that the route that you have chosen to take in terms of raising awareness through Rise 18 campaign. Tell us a bit more about it. My goodness, you couldn't have chosen a harder way of doing it. Tell us about 18 races. Well, of course, we're talking about road races in case people are wondering what you say. This is running. Now, you're going to be running 18 races between now and July.
Yes. So I'm a runner already. I've done 2 comrades. I did one last year and the year before, and I've done a couple of ultra marathons as well. So what the campaign is about is 18 is the year, or 2018 is the year where I've decided to rise, and I've decided to actually do something about this, because I haven't spoken about it myself for a very long time. And I've realized that if I do speak about it in the little pockets in the society, people have indicated that, people are not feeling well, or I can see the signs like I was saying earlier. So I made a decision that through my running, which is something that I really love, I'm going to complete 18 races in raising funds and awareness about the initiative. But not only that, we also want to tell other stories as well, where people express themselves and indicate how they survive depression, how they survive suicide. I'm not the only victim here. I'm not the only person that has been affected to it, but there's different people, and that's exactly what I want to highlight. Different people from different races, people that are living, or people that had to pick up the pieces when one of their loved ones left. And more so, I want men to actually stand up and articulate the fact that, if they've had an incident where they suffered from depression or they were suicidal, this is how they dealt with it. Because I think if we can all tell our stories, one way or the other, a person might be listening to it and they'll be able to relate, and we can save a life, literally.
All right. Tell us about the distances that you'll be doing in these races, and which races you're going to be doing. Any particular ones that you want to single out, yeah?
So, I will be doing the Comrades Marathon. As everyone knows, the Comrades Marathon is 89 kilometers. I'll be doing Oceans, and there will also be Cosmos, which is a 3-in-1 race. You literally do 3 races. You do a 42K, a 21K, and a 10K in one day. And the 18th race is a race called Washimala, which is 160 Ks. It happens in the Eastern Cape on the 27th of July. So you start running from 5 p.m. until the following day. The cutoff is 26 hours.
Wow, that is quite a thing. And so how do people support you, or how does this in fact achieve the mission that you've set out to do? I mean, how do you hope that this will raise the awareness that you want?
So I've set up an account, and the link is www.backupbuddy.co.za/rise18, where people can donate. I've partnered up with SADC, and I'm actually raising funds for them. They are, like I mentioned earlier, they're an organization that help people to deal, and they support people that suffer from depression and suicide. So I'm helping them to raise funds for them because they are under-resourced, as you may imagine. This is something that a lot of people are suffering from, and they get a lot of calls. And because the lines that they have are toll-free numbers, they have a really high telephonic bill, and that's one of the things that I'll be assisting them with. And people can donate, and like I mentioned, one of the main things that we want to do with the campaign is to tell other stories, and these require, obviously, to be produced. And if people can come up and assist us with production costs, that would really be awesome. Even with Washi is not like a Comrades where the support on the road. You have to support yourself, and you have to get a team that supports you. So if there's brands out there that are listening, or people that are willing to assist with transport, with accommodation, or any form of nutrition that one needs on the road, that would be highly appreciated.
Excellent. Just to give us that website again that you said that people can go to.
So it's www.backabuddy.co.za/rise18, And if people want to find out more information about the project as well, they can go onto my Facebook pages. The Facebook page is also called Rise 18, as well as Instagram.
Rise 18. Zanele, we wish you all the best with this. When's your first race, by the way?
So I've done 2 races already. I've done Dis-Chem, which was a 21K, and I did another race last week. It was 15K. And on Sunday, I'm doing my 3rd race, which is Johnson Crane, and it's a 42K.
What was your time there for the 21?
2 hours, 2 minutes.
Oh, wow. Okay, this is great. Well, wonderful. We wish you all the best, and do keep us posted. We'll try to catch up with you after your last race, the Iwashi Mila, which is in July 27th. We'll try and catch up with you. But all the best, and we encourage people to go and check out the various accounts that you've set up.
Power 98.7. Now we're talking.